What's up, everyone? My name is Kiki Alexander. You know me as ThePandaPhotographer. Welcome to this live stream, Monday at noon Central Standard Time, as always. Oh, let me turn this down. Ooh. Alright, keep forgetting to do that. But anyway, guys, I'm ThePandaPhotographer. If you're new to this channel, please do subscribe, do like, do share the content if you like the content. But as a travel photographer, I bring news and related topics based on my travels as a travel photographer and how I manage as a travel photographer. And it's not all glory, it's not all pretty, but I think I do pretty damn well for myself, to be honest. But I really do appreciate it. But today's topic is going to be about astrophotography. I'm going to give you some Sony related news as well. We're going to talk about some other topics about photography, so you guys have a better understanding of how to approach this field if you want to make this as a career path. But I am using non-copyrighted music from YouTube, so keep that in mind. That I think it's just be safeguarded. Just download music from the YouTube library, so you don't have to worry about that. But I'm gonna wait for some of the more people to come into the live stream, and I think I'm gonna actually put it slanted this way. There we go, so I can see the comments. All right, actually, let me make sure, because I got my iPhone here so you guys can see. Actually, let me put that in a frame so you guys can see how I'm multitasking, looking at the comments. So, but anyway, guys, thank you for joining in to the live stream on Monday. I know some of you guys are not really happy about waking up in the morning and going to work on a Monday, because some of you probably do work over the weekend. And as photographers, we work 7 days a week, 365. So we don't have vacation days. We don't have dental insurance or medical insurance. We pay 35% more tax than most people, to be honest, because we got to pay tax on everything. And we work hard all the time to actually bring content like this. So if you guys want to support the channel, there's a PayPal donation link in the descriptions below. It really does help me out, ladies and gentlemen. But if you do want to do the super chat, that's up to you. But I'm not a big fan of the super chat, because 30% that YouTube takes, it's just a really, to me, it's just a little bit too high. It's just too high, because what are people actually buying from me? They're not buying, they donating. So 30% donation is pretty damn high. But the donations that you make directly to my PayPal, 10% of that goes to a charity of choice that I pick for the month of February. So it does help some small charities get a little bit if I make that donation count. But with that said, everyone, but it's popping right in here. Oops, got this on the screen. But here's my website, 646studios.com, where you can check out my galleries, you can check out my tutorials on photography, you can check out my portfolios. If you are someone that's interested in hiring a photographer and you want to know their rates and prices, you can go to my prices if you want to hire me at some point, or you want to collab. Doesn't matter. But I do have an Instagram right here, ThePandaPhotographer, so you can check me out there. I got a link in as well, so if you want to do business, conduct business, you can see that I do have a link in. I also have a Facebook as well, so you guys can have a better understanding how to get in touch with me social media wise. But if you go back to the website, you can see that all the social medias up here are right here, so I'm not that far away. But I do also join a group on Facebook. Now, David Oyster is the admin for this group, and also a very, very talented photographer. He has been teaching photography for quite some time, and a long time. So this is the group that he actually built from the ground up. We are part of this group, and there's no bias, there's no fanboyism on this channel. But just check it out. You can check out other people's work here, like Joe A. Collins. You can check out some of his work. Aaron Anderson, you can check out some of his work. These are members of the community that we all are just talking and we sharing stories. It's important that we do share the stories. You can see me sharing something that recently about Adobe's update to Lightroom was just, it's misleading. I don't see much. You can check this video out, but I do have an update video called Revisit. Same video, it's just titled Revisit, and you should check that one out. You can see my work on here as well, from here in Madison, Wisconsin. So pretty awesome. A lot of David Oyster's sneak peek on Kara's video and the Patreon page, guys, and you can check that out. Gary Williams sharing some Nikon news. So like I said, this community is not just about Sony, it's about photography in general. So go check it out and see if you like it. And if you want to join the group, just send a request. And a lot of people are talking about, you know, things that are related. Tokina is coming back with a new lens for E-mount, which is great. See, news like this is so important to share, because this helps other photographers say, hey, Tokina is coming back. I used to love the brand because they used to make some really good lenses back then. So yeah, go check it out, and hopefully we see you there. But there's also another group that I'm a part of. It's called the Digital Photography School. This group has about almost close to 120,000 members here. So it's a very, very large group, and you can see people like Brian Penny showing his beautiful nature photography work. David McGuess showing some of his skills as well. You know, it's pretty cool. Steve showing some of his son's pictures, which is pretty cool. And like, people just are photographers. Don't have to be always portraits of sexy, beautiful women and models and such. Photography is about sharing what you see is art. It's so important that you guys do, because if you guys don't and you just fixated on portraits, you're not learning the art of photography. All you learn is one particular category, which is great and it's fine, but you need to actually step out that box and learn something about sharing inspiration stories and being creative and thinking outside the box. I know some of you guys like to know the rules, the 10 competition rules, which you could go on my website. By the way, let's go back to my website. And oops, where is it? Wow, I can't even find. There it is. See the top 10 compositions. You can go to the website, rule of thirds, the balancing elements, leading lines, symmetric patterns, viewpoints, backgrounds, depth, framing, cropping, experimentation is one thing about photography that you guys need to actually really try to, learn from, is that even though you may see one angle, there might be another angle that might be really unique and really different for what someone else is not shooting. So try to be very experimentation on your photography. But yeah, but other than that, the community is large. These are the two communities, but you can see I have a large community over here on my left side. But with that said, everyone, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share the content, and join me on Instagram mostly, so where you can see me, I'm more active. You can see me do like a lot of IG lives or IG. I'm not really a big fan of IGTV, but I normally do a little bit of live streaming on IGTV, which I did before this live stream, just to let everyone know that I am going to be live streaming Central Time, noon, Monday here in Madison, Wisconsin. But other than that, guys, thank you for joining. There's two of you guys in here, but let's talk about this particular filter. Now, the flip filter, the clip filter is called. Now, this is going to be only for E-mount. Now, I do have, if you go back to my screen for 1 second, I have the A-mount right here. And let me tell you, it's not going to fit on the A-mount, because the A-mounts inner structure body and the center is different. So, and then if you look at, let me put this back on. Now, if you were go to back and you look at the E mount, you can see that most of its the sensor's structure and the build quality and the build around the sensor is a flat surface. This is meant for only the A5000, A5100, the A6000, and the A6300. I'm not quite sure why A6500 was not listed, but I'm pretty sure it would probably be compatible for the A6500. But this is going to help if you're an astrophotographer. If you want to get those beautiful night star Milky Ways over the city, or if you are not in the city, you're probably pretty far away, because most of us photographers have to go outside the city, far away, 50 miles, 20 miles away, just to get the perfect Milky Way photograph. And I have some of my own on my website as well. But this is something that A-mount users have been asking for for some time now. On the Sony A-mount forum on Facebook, a lot of people were asking for this type of filter, and now I guess the creator, the developer, Wing Wang, if I'm pronouncing that wrong, is Wei Wang. He started to develop this particular filter for you astrophotographers that just want to filter out that nasty pollution that you get in the city areas. So you will be able to actually take some beautiful starscapes or astrophotography near the city, so you don't have to travel far away from the city in order to get the shot that you dreamed of if you are into astrophotography. Now, if people are looking into astrophotography, this might be something you may be interested in. But there is, some people may say, can you actually do, what's the difference between full frame and crop sensors when shooting astrophotography? There's a lot of difference. There's quite a difference in crop and full frame, but it doesn't matter what gear that you shoot it. The results are going to be just the results to me, in my opinion, using a crop sensor doing astrophotography is going to be well worth your time, because this is like the first. No one's ever thought about making filters like that to put inside the sensor before you put on your lens, and I think this is a really good approach to E-mount. But then again, how well does it work? We don't know. This has just been announced, but we don't know for sure how well it works and how much light that it actually stops. We want to see how much light transmission goes through that focal length lens, and how much of the light is actually not getting through that filter. And that's more important. We need to know what's the side effects. Is all products are not perfect, right? Sony's not perfect. Sony's not trying to develop the perfect camera, which I'm trying to, but the A7 III is probably in the 89 or probably the perfect Sony cameras. And I'm saying the Sony cameras, not the cameras, but the Sony cameras you can buy on the market. The A65 is well good, and the A6300 is good. The A6000 is still good. I just saw someone last night shooting with the A6000, and I was like, yeah, that's pretty cool, you know. But as it says, like, you can read this article. I'm leave the links to this article down in the descriptions later on below, but you can go to Sony Alpha Rumors to go check this article out yourself, and you can read about it. But it's going to be greatly reduce the interference and artificial lighting in the city. So that is what we are looking for, because not all of us can afford to just rent a car or have a vehicle to just go outside to the countryside and take these beautiful astrophotography shots. Now, it's going to be suitable for APS-C mirrorless sensors, and between 14 mil and longer. They don't say how long, but we have to guess estimate. But if you really want to take astrophotography, you do want to shoot at 12 mil, 14 mil. You can use the 18 to 35 Sigma art lens, which you see over there, and on my right hand corner over here. But still, it's just, this is going to be something that's going to be changing the way we shoot astrophotography with Sony cameras. So this is going to be a Sony related live stream. So, but other than that, guys, it's going to keep the natural color representation, hopefully. But like I said, this has been announced. No one has really their hands on it yet, but this is going to be a really big improvement on how we look at astrophotography. And now maybe we can get more of you guys that are shooting portraits or doing more cityscapes to go out there and do more astrophotography related photographs, because I really want to see what you guys have to show when you do astrophotography. And as an astrophotographer myself, it is quite difficult trying to nail the shot. This is why if you are going to be using if you are going to be going out there to use your camera for astrophotography, make sure that you have a shutter speed app on your phone. Make sure that if you're using any filters, anything like that, please mind you that you need to know the time. Use an astrophotography app to pinpoint where the Milky Way is going to be at certain times of at night, because sometimes it could be a little bit early, it could be at noon, it could be at 1, it could be at 2 in the morning. You never know where it's going to be, so always use the applications on your phone to make sure that your location, make sure that you use your location to determine where you are. I have a few applications on my phone. I have one called Star Chaser, which is pretty damn good. I rely on that app quite a bit to pinpoint where I'm going to be shooting astrophotography. But yeah, so, and you can read all the features here. I'm not going to go through all of them because this is really getting nerdy right now. But basically, it's going to be only for APS-C for now. I'm pretty sure he's going to make a full frame sensor at some point, a full frame model for a full frame sensor, I'm sorry. But the compatible APS-C bodies is, like I said, A5000, A51, A6000, A63. I'm not sure why the A6500 is not listed on there, but I'm pretty sure they will have it. But you can see the before and after. You see that pollution in the air. You see that yellow mist tint that you see in the before. That is what you get a lot when you shoot astrophotography, if you are like in the city or close to the city. So yeah, but the best results are when you actually go out into, the urban, outside the urban to landscape areas far from the city where there's no air pollution or emissions in the air. This is the best result, the after results that you get. So basically, it's taking that time that you would spend driving and that time that you would spend renting a car, driving so far away, where you can just sit at home. Basically, that's what he's claiming in the city, that you can do this in the city. So we have to see how the results are. But in the comments, someone wrote something very important, and I was reading it here. Because someone said something about crop sensor. Why would you want to shoot astrophotography with a crop sensor? And I do it all the time, so you don't need a full frame to do it. But full frames do have the best results because you get to use a lower ISO. So some people use ISO 3200 for maybe about 5 seconds, 10 seconds. Some people use ISO 6400 for about a minute, 2 minutes. It depends on how you shoot astrophotography. It's based on the photographer, but you can have a discussion here in the chat so you guys can absolutely go through, the conversation in hand. And like this person here says, I have the Rokinon 12mm f2 for astrophotography. They are recommended, the 14 or longer. And see, like the 12 is just a great, to me, I think the 14 and 12 is great focal length for astrophotography. Too wide can be a little bit distorted and might not be appealing to some people, but as I said, it's based on the photographer and how you would shoot astrophotography. But here's some new news. The Tamron will announce a new 17-28 f2.8 Di3 RXD for Sony FE February 20th. I'm not sure what Tamron has in store for the E-mount, but it seems like Tamron is focused on E-mount bodies more now than it was before, because in the last like year or so they just been coming out with E-mount after E-mount after E-mount. I guess a lot of us have requested Tamron to make some beautiful glass for E-mount, and I personally use Tamron SP90 f017 micro lens, and that's a sharp lens. And like I said, I'm a manual shooter, so if you are a manual shooter, but their 17 to 28 is going to be a Mark III version. So if you do have an E-mount body, please, you may want to wait for this one, and it's going to be affordable. I know some of you guys cannot afford the Sony equivalent, and it's quite expensive, but this is going to be well worth the money. That, and what is it, the 20, it's the, what is it, the 28 to 75 is just a mind-blowing lens. So imagine the 17 to 28. So it's up to you guys if you want to read that. But Sony also confirmed announcement within the next 7 to 8 days, a lens for sure, but no new camera. Ooh, a new lens in 7 to 8 days. What does that mean for Sony shooters? We may get a surprise. We may get a 135. We may get a new telephoto lens for you sports shooters out there. Ooh, something that sports shooters are probably looking for it and looking for Sony to develop. And you wildlife photographers, I didn't forget you wildlife photographers. So if I were you guys, keep posted on the Sony Alpha rumors. And by the way, I'm not sponsored by anyone if I talk about anyone in this video, so please keep that in mind that I'm not sponsored by anyone. But if you guys want to support this channel, there's a PayPal donation link in the descriptions below. It will really help me out, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much. But don't forget to subscribe and like. But here's an interesting topic. The A64. I know some of you guys are bitching about how the A64 doesn't have in-body stabilization, but it is better than that Canon RP for sure. But here's a new Sony A64 review by Nicotina, and the best camera you can get for under $1,000. And I think it is. I really think it is a really good camera for under $1,000. Yes, it doesn't have stabilization, but you know, at least you get a flipped up screen. You get a new feature, which is real-time tracking inside the sensor, which the A6300 doesn't have, the A6000 doesn't have, not even the A6500 has yet. But we have to see, because there are going to be releases. Sony is going to be announcing firmware releases for certain cameras for this feature, but definitely pick up the A6400. I have it also. I'm an Amazon affiliate. If you guys want to pick up any of these cameras that I have mentioned in this video, you can go down to my descriptions. There's an Amazon affiliate link. You can click on it. I picked out the best deals too, especially like the A5100 with a full blown package kit, filters, tripods, all that good stuff. Wireless remote for astrophotography. I picked all those out through Amazon affiliate links, so they're down in the descriptions below. I do appreciate it, guys. But you can check out some of these videos and more about, you know, Sony tidbits stuff here if you guys want to check that out and read articles. But camera FE rumor is going to be posted in a few minutes. Well, we already talked about that. But there's a restock on Sony A7 IIIs for $19.19 on eBay. I'm like, what? This is a really odd article for $19.19 on eBay. I don't know if that might be a scam or what, but it could be a scam. But let's do a visual comparison between all the A6000 series cameras. Okay, you got the A6300. Get an A6400, A6500, and it looks like to me you could probably fit that filter on the A6500. If you look at it closely, they look identical. See the body structure inside? It look just identical. So it's possible, and maybe you can put that filter on there as well. But I'm not sure why they didn't show the A6300 here. That's a really odd comparison. Why is the A6300 not here? But as you can see, the body wise, look at the A6300 closely. You can see where that it is, trying to make sure that I'm reading the comments here. But the A6300's grip is smaller. Then the 64 is much larger, but the body is much thicker, as you can see. And this one is thinner, as you can see. And you can see the 6500, bigger grip here, much bigger. And that's pretty much it, guys. And let's talk about the importance of being yourself as a photographer. And I'm going to say this for myself as well. It's so important to keep your identity as a photographer and not, I'm going to say it clearly, do not sell out. Here's why. Because when you sell out, you lose touch with your audience base. You lose people's respect, and you lose the trust of your fellow photographers in the community. And definitely go to f-stoppers. A lot of you may not like news from f-stoppers, but it's important that you guys pay attention to what this person has to say. And it's a pretty good video, I have to say, because some people lose their identity. They lose who they are in photography, and they lose themselves. What I mean by they lose themselves is that they tend to forget that they are just like you and I and the rest of the world and the rest of the photographers that are trying to come up into this foundation that we love the art of photography. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because there was a point where in my life when I started getting recognition for my work, and people will, you know, give me credit for the hard accomplishments that I have done, right? And I would just get a little bit cocky about it too. I'm like, yeah, I'm the shit. And then I realized over time, I shouldn't think like that. It's not that you shouldn't think like that in a bad way. It depends on how you think about how you use that way of thinking to your audience. And for me, I feel that, you know, when I was, you know, getting really embraced in 2013, 2014, getting back into photography, and I knew the ins and outs about photography, but when I started posting my work, people were like, no, that was a good shot. Yeah, and you get all these likes and get all this, you know, recognition for your hard work. People lose the most fundamental thing about photography, and that is you still got to be yourself. Got to keep your identity intact. Because even though you may get sponsored by Sony or Nikon or Panasonic or Fuji or Olympics or Pentax, you know, you're still the same person. Nothing has changed. You're still trying to struggle with the morality of I gotta still push forward, because there's other people in this industry that would hate and dislike what you do as a photographer. They don't have to like your work, but is it really disliking your work if someone hates your work? Do you lose yourself because you get a nasty comment? Do you break out in anger because one comment on your YouTube channel pisses you off? And sometimes it does too, because recently I've been attacked by photographers I thought were allies. You know, and the reason why I made the videos that I made in the past, to show some awareness that I'm still winning no matter what you say. I'm posting every day. I'm making content every day. I am showing the people around the world what I can do as a photographer. What are you doing? You may have money, you may have all this, but are you actually shooting with your cameras? Because there's a lot of people out there that are into photography for the technical aspects of it. They're not into it for the visual aspects of it, because they lack that accomplishment. They lack of knowing the knowledge and how to travel as a travel photographer or a portrait photographer or a landscape photographer or a sports photographer. They have no clue. All they do is sit behind a computer and just talk and talk and talk. So you have to let them talk. Because guess what? You are still winning. Because they are watching your content. Even if they hit that thumbs up button or the downs button, you're still winning. Because it's just plain simple. I was looking for the word. It's plain simple mathematics. Just because someone hates your work doesn't mean they actually really hate your work. They don't. They just jealous. Just get that straight. They are jealous. And they know they're jealous because they have no reason to be jealous, because they just want to hate. They just want to show that they are not competent enough to actually be on par with you as a photographer and as someone that communicates with the community. They can't be like you. They're jealous of you. They could be. Or it could be the fact that like they wish they can be like you or me. Because I know a lot of people that say, oh, I wish I could be like you. And I always tell them, no, you do not want to be like me. I go through a struggle. I go through a process. As a dual citizen, I go through this issue all the time. Okay? Taxes, double taxes, immigration, DACA program, all this stuff. If you guys haven't heard, the rapper Savage 21, he was just arrested by ICE because he came here at the age of 6. He came to the U.S. at the age of 6. He didn't know anything about visa, though his parents took care of that. And he gets arrested one day driving somewhere, and ICE just picks him up. And I'm going to tell you why immigration enforcement picked him up. Because he's making too much money. They want all the tax money. Since he is actually technically a dual citizen, or could be a dual citizen if he wants to, okay? They want all his tax money. It's all about tax money here. Hey, pay us. But in the long end, he's going to win his court battle because it's discrimination. You target him for this reason. Just like in the art of photography, people will target you for the exact same reasons, or how your education ethics are, how you teach photography. I teach photography in a very different format. I'm not perfect at it, but I teach it as if what I go through every day, the real world statistics every day. I gotta deal with individuals every day out here when I'm traveling. When I go to the international hostels where I stay, or hotels, I gotta worry about my gear. These are real life experiences that these photographers do not know about. They don't have any clue about any of it. Hold on one second. It seems like my live stream is lagging. Let me go check it. No, it's showing clearly nicely. Okay. Well, anyway, like I was saying, guys, these photographers don't know what you go through. They pretend they know. They don't know anything. I'm bilingual, by the way, right? So there was a photographer that always wanted to connect with me and always wanted to chat, right? And there was a photographer. He's not even a photographer. I don't know what I identify him as, a videographer or a photographer, because basically, let me tell you, a photographer would only want to request your services and be upfront with you if they want to give you services, all right, and pay you for your services. I'm sorry. And he bullshit me the whole entire time. Oh, I got some work for you. You can add these photos, my wedding photos. And then, like, he never sent the wedding photos. He just talk. And that kind of annoyed the hell out of me. That's when I lost trust and faith in this person. I respect the person as a human being. That's different. But I can't rely on someone that is going to be just telling me a story and gassing up the whole point are trying to make me feel better about myself, that I'm going to get some work, but I never do. When someone actually says they're going to have work for you and they're going to pay you, you get excited, right? You get excited because you're going to be making money. People respect how you edit your photos. But this person just continued to like do it all the time. It says he's going to do this, he's going to do that, but never did. That's why I stopped listening to what he had to say. It's not a she, it's a he. I stopped listening to what he had to say, because all he does was just, you know, playing this runaround game. I don't have time to play around with games. I'm real about how I edit my photos. That's why I make these live tutorials, or I call them music Lightroom tutorial episodes, where you hear the music in the background, you see me edit, but you don't see my face, and you see me edit the process. And sometimes in that video, I'm recording it. Then when I'm editing the video, I'm speeding that process up. I'm just doing the speed duration up by 250%. So you guys don't have to sit there for a whole 20 minutes, but instead you can sit there for at least 6-7 minutes of that 22-minute video. So, and you can see where I add and correct, and I do make some mistakes. I'm not perfect, and that's what the mistake about this person was. He think he's perfect. God is not going to save you. Jesus, Buddha, whatever religion you on, God's not going to save what you have done to the next person. Because just because you go to church, you're religious, doesn't mean you're a perfect person. You do mistakes. And recently, I've been attacked for that reason. The same person, I noticed the same person, when I post a video, automatic thumbs down quickly within the first few seconds. What does that tell you? So I have no respect for him when it comes down to this community, in this photography community, because he's not being true to himself. He's just reading stuff on the internet and saying this about Sony or Canon or Fuji, whatever he shoots with. But the point of that, moral of that story, is that this is kind of realism, troublesome, that I have to go through every day as a photographer. And you may go through this all the time. And this is why you should keep your identity true to yourself. It's important to, this is why this article exists. The article is that the importance of being yourself as a photographer and trying to keep your composure. And sometimes I lose it sometimes, but I don't lose it where I let it conquer over me 100%. Sometimes we do 50-50. Like I said, I'm not a perfect person, and it's hard to, you know, adapt to other photographers' needs, because you may not like how that person shoots, or you may like how that person shoots. You may want to implement some of that education to your photography, but that doesn't mean that you're gonna learn something right away and be master at it. No, it takes years of experience. I've been shooting photography off and on since I was 12 years old, and my parents, my adoptive parents, gave me a camera so I could stay out of trouble in Japan, right? And I decided that I was going to do that off and on. I got into rollerblading, I got into snowboarding, and that's when I got into the videography stuff. And a lot of inline aggressive rollerbladers like Laura Bryan, Thomas LaPina, you know, Ray Mendez, they would vouch for my credibility. Oh yeah, he comes in the summer, skates with us, sometimes comes back in fall around Christmas, skates. You know, it was an amazing time for me to learn how to shoot video and add these cheesy low budget skate videos. And that's how I got into videography and photography more and more, taking photos and doing what I have to do. But then I gave it up for a little while because school was more important. I realized that education was so important that I needed to actually graduate in order to make sure that I can keep my hobby intact and make sure that I can afford to spend money on my hobby. Because if without an education, you can't afford to get a job, you can't get and without a diploma, you're not able to afford some of the stuff. Some people can get lucky without a diploma. I've seen it happen. That, like Casey Neistat is one of those guys. He's a YouTuber, filmmaker. He dropped out of high school, and look at him now. Big YouTuber, big film director, filmmaker. Look at him doing commercials for Mercedes-Benz and Nike and all these other brands. He's a good example. Some of you may not like Casey Neistat, but I do. He gives me motivation to push forward. David Oster gives me motivation to push over. The Watsons, if you guys don't know the Watsons, they are great photographers. They give me some motivation. Everyone gives me motivation. The right people give me motivation. Michael the Raven gives me motivation. When he speaks intelligently on a level, you guys can be like, I need to stop thinking like, I need to start thinking like that. That's a good way to look at photography. But there's another problem with a lot of photographers. They might not like what he says because it's truth. It may be truth, it may not be truth to you. I don't know. It's up to you guys. But with that said, everyone, I'm the Panda Photographer. If you guys want to actually read about some of the stuff, if you guys just tuned in and missed some of the preview show about some of the stuff that we visit. So I'm going to go back. We talk about the clip filter for APS sensors. We talk about the highlights, the features. We talk about the compatibility and the before and end result. But this is the way to life and astrophotography. We also talk about new FE lens that Tamron is going to bring out in the next 7 days. Or, well, Sony is going to bring out a new lens in the next 7 days. This was posted today, so within the next week or so, we should see a new lens from Sony. And Tamron is announcing on February 20th, they're going to announce a new FE mount lens, and it's going to be the 17-28 F2.8 DI Mark III RXD, which is a pretty damn good lens, if I recall. I never used the Mark II, but a lot of people did like the lens. It did have a little bit of focus breathing in Mark I, but Tamron has improved on the optics and the coating for their lenses. So check that out if you guys want to do. And if you want to go back and read this article, the importance of being yourself as a photographer, which we just finished discussing, and me telling you guys about the stuff that I go through, you may go through the same thing. And recognize the value of what you are worth. You are, trust me, even if you're not doing this professionally, you are a big value to the community. Just because you might not produce images as good as the next person doesn't mean that you're not valuable. You are so valuable to this community. Believe it or not, don't listen to anyone telling you blase bullshit about, oh, you need to grow, you need to learn this and that. You shouldn't talk, you shouldn't leave a comment if you don't know what you're talking about. No, leave a comment. Give people your thoughts on what you think you know about it. And there's nothing wrong about criticism. Like The Verge. If you guys haven't heard about that, Verge started copyrighting YouTube videos because they made a really bad video about how to build a gaming PC. It was pretty damn bad, and so bad that I stopped. My teeth was cringing. The teeth that I have left, I was cringing. Like, it's like I want, and mind you, they tried to. It's just embarrassing. It's just pure embarrassment from The Verge to do that to a community they're supposed to love. Now they immediately outsource, but that's just an example. But guys, as a Panda Photographer, thank you for watching for the first 45 minutes. But as you can see, the lenses in the back there. But mind you, that filter for the APS-C for astrophotography is not going to work with A mount, because how the design for the inside of the sensor is built differently. So please, A6000, I think will be compatible with A6500, because it may be, I don't know, because it looks the same to me. But other than that, guys, thank you for watching. You guys want to support, you guys want to contribute to what I do as a travel photographer, you can always go down to the descriptions below, hit those Amazon links, affiliate links, if you want to buy the A5000. A5100, A6000, A6300, A6400, A6500, the best SD card, and the best prime lens for the 6400. But if you guys want to support what I do as a travel photographer, there's a PayPal donation link down in the description below. You don't need a PayPal account to donate, so it really does help me out, guys. But with that said, everyone, this is the Panda Photographer. This has been 45 minutes of my Monday live streams. I do appreciate that you guys tuned in today and listen to what I have to say. It's pretty important that I grow on this channel, so please do subscribe, please do like, please do share, and please do visit. If you haven't watched the first few minutes of this live stream, you just came into this live stream, I suggest that you may want to watch the first 10 minutes and try to communicate with the groups that I have suggested that you may want to be a part of. It's a very positive community, and I appreciate you guys' time. But thank you so much. Arigato. Eat, sleep, photography, videography, repeat. And I see you guys in the next video. You guys take care. Happy shooting.